Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Qudash. Double honors unto the apostles and the bishops and the elders of the great millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect. I am the brother Chaya from GMS Indianapolis, the branch of Indiana, the original Gary campus, GMS at Will Not Tarry 2. I just want to put this up here.
And no one.
Fair use. I don't know how much of this video I'm going to play, but you see the title on screen. It says, "Let's hear this American soldier bragging about essaying Iraqi women. No one I expected, compared to what we were doing." Okay, anyway.
Expected, compared to what we were doing every day, teasing a couple Hajis, give me a fucking break. You know, what's the big deal about making a Haji walk around like a dog and bark? Expected anyone to get all upset.
What else would you guys do?
Yeah. What would we do? Or we'd take a plastic and wrap it around their heads until they start. CIA showed us a lot of shit, man. Transgender.
So wait a minute. He said the CIA showed them a lot of stuff, right? With the 3-letter alphabet, what they call it, organizations, institutions, or whatever, right?
Or we hook it up. Yeah, you're gonna hook it up to their nipples or their nuts.
Ooh, ouch.
Shock the shit out of them.
Yeah. What was the most fun things?
The most fun thing, definitely the women.
Yeah? They had chicken surgeons, man?
No, really? No, they didn't have chicken surgeons. Something goes down, they just grab everyone around, fuck them. You're gonna have 35 trials? No, people are like, oh, they're innocent, you know what, I don't give a fuck them. They fucked us,
fucking
now
do
we're
anything.
fucking them. Yeah. Fuck them, dude. Anyone with a fucking rag on their head is fair game. Girl. She's probably like 15 years old. Oh, yeah? Yeah, she was hot, dude. Body on that girl. Really tight.
They always wear like you can't see them, right?
Hadn't been touched yet. She was fucking prime.
Oh.
So, guys, he started pimping her out for $50 a shot. I think at the end of the day, he made like $500 before she hung herself. Really? Yeah.
It's crazy. I heard this story from this particular one he telling about a girl out there from somebody else. I heard this story. I want to look up something too. What the hell is a chicken surgeon? Salakia, shit. They using all type of jargon. I don't know what it means. Is a specialized veterinarian who focuses on the surgery of chicken or the produce. Chicken doctors. What is this? University of California Press. Chicken doctors and the trials of transgenders. This autoethnographic multidisciplinary illness narrative describes the working condition of a crew of Latino chicken workers in North Carolina, explores how these laborers respond to and make meaning of their brutal and dehumanizing work. They say chicken doctors post out disabling working condition in attending legislative occupation. All right, so y'all just...
She hung herself? How come she hung herself?
I don't know, she wasn't happy. It was culture, it's really shunned upon if you get raped. I guess she would have been stoned to death anyways by her people. Yeah. It's fucked up.
Oh, she was fucked anyway, I guess.
Yeah, right.
In more ways than one.
They were under investigation last year for raping Iraqi women. Can you talk about that?
Yes.
You also quote Jamil Jafar, an attorney for the American Civil Liberties Union.
And this is the average, this is just to show you the mentality of Esau Edom. When they're allowed to be let loose, unrestricted, this is how they behave. All right. And they even come back. A lot of times what those guys do, they'll record stuff for their own personal use. And they'll bring those recordings back to the States, to America, and show their family and show their friends or whatever.
Has led a long legal struggle to get the Pentagon to release the documents of its investigations, arguing that the failure to conduct a thorough investigation on such serious charges as rape is part of a disturbing pattern. And you quote him saying, "There are always questions in these files about whether the investigator was sufficiently aggressive in pursuing leads and tracking down evidence." In the documents that the ACLU obtained, one...
And that's enough on that. Fair use, right? This is and how much more so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans they want to get their hands on? Habakkuk 2:4 says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." So he's just a crooked individual. Like the scripture says, what the Lord made crooked can't be made straight. All right. His soul, right? Hebrew, napash, soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind, living being, desire, emotion, passion. All right. So definition E, seat of the appetites, seat of emotions and passions, activity of mind, activity of character. So who you are, right? Napash. So who this particular person in, it's not what? Yashar, to be right, to be straight. See, I said earlier, he's crooked. He ain't straight. To be level, to be upright, to be just, to be lawful, to be smooth, to be pleasing, to be agreeable, to be straightforward. Yeah, this man, that's not him at all. All right. And when you go to Amos 1:11, see, all you gotta do is what our people need to do, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You see what they doing over there in Gaza. You see what this man's saying about the Iraqi women or Iraqi people or whatever. If that's how they feel about them, they feel even more so about you. All right? Because like the scripture says, I will put enmity between thy seed and the serpent seed. And the word enmity means a hatred. All right. Some definitions are deep-seated hatred. Salakia, pardon me, or deep-rooted hatred. All right. Amos 1:11. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, so-called white people, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof. So you're gonna be punished, all right. You don't get away, all right. You're gonna be judged. There's gonna be justice, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So you hate Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans forever. Here it is. You done conquered our people. You disenfranchised them. They believe what you want them to believe. You done gave them a Jesus Christ. You gave them Jesus Christ. You gave them pork, and you gave them ADHD medication. Totally dismantled the people, but that ain't enough. That ain't enough, right? So when you look up the word, he said he cast off all pity, right? And pity, right? Racham, womb, compassion, right? Remember what Joe Biden said in that crime bill address, right? He said, "We don't care if you know what? Hey, we ain't doing nothing. Let's let him say it." Let's hear what he say. You want to hear an example of somebody casting off all pity?
If history has taught us
Let's hear what
anything,
he
it's
said.
not to root against the underdog.
And then
Right,
he said,
Peter?
if you don't
No
vote for
spoilers.
him, you ain't black.
So 25 years.
That 1990.
And he didn't, look, you had it, look, Bill Clinton apologized for it, right?
Crime peaked in night across the country.
But he didn't. Joe Biden didn't. Matter of fact, where the hell is Joe Biden?
Federal effort to deal with violent crime in America that has ever been undertaken.
It was important of that. Now, what did the bill? Assault weapon. $1 billion. Most pernicious that would for.
I just want y'all to hear him say something.
Talking about it. The crime bill.
Particularly in
Her ass.
Senate by and large.
So many people to understand why the federal government would pay states to incarcerate more people, given the devastating consequences we know that incarceration
Look,
causes.
they probably pulled it
But
down.
at the time, policymakers felt the need to respond to what they felt was uncontrolled violence, and this bill was the way that policymakers, that Congress could say, we're do something about it.
Violent crime and the fear it provokes are crippling our society.
Okay, here you go.
Great. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. The Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, the Democratic president of the United States of America, the Democratic attorney. Now, we can find some fringe folks in the study groups on the right wing and left wing, libertarians and left-wingers in my party who say, no, that's not what we should.
Look, great example of the politicians playing heroes for problems they created.
But politically, that consensus has been arrived at. I acknowledge there was not that consensus in the 60s. There is today. There's a second thing that we all have agreed upon, and that is unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours.
He said he just admitted to creating YNs. They just admitted to creating the problem. See? Let's say that back again.
Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them.
No forgiveness.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
Beyond the pale.
Beyond the pale.
See?
And it's a sad commentary on society.
No
we
compassion.
have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. You're looking at the fellow who
This is the devil, man. Right? But let that opioid epidemic hit you so-called white people. It was see? Now we got to build facilities. Now we got to do documentaries. And now we got to address the issue and what's going on.
one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it, and even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. I remember when it was going on, when I was making these arguments in the late 70s, they used to call it Biden's same time for the same crime provision. It's a shame, but we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malefactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist. And we must deal with that. And I think there's a consensus among Republicans in that. Old barbed wire Republican conservatives want to hang them high. Even those folks are saying, hey, we got to deal with the root cause of this. Not one or the other, but separately. And liberal Democrats who used to say, let's look at the sociological underpinnings of why this occurred, and we have to, they're now saying, hey, look, we got to take back the streets. We'll make that fight later. So there is a consensus. I hope the remainder of the discussion as we close out the debate in this bill, we can end that old fight. We can put it behind us. Hopefully we have, the senator from West Virginia said this is a historic moment on this bill, a consensus being reached. I think it is, but I think it's a historic moment for a political reason as well. Hopefully we will end the discussion.
Yeah, watch this video.
About whether or not.
Anyway, Lord willing, this was edifying. Let's to the hopeful elect. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rekakwadash, Shalom. Yeah, somewhere towards the beginning of it, he says, let me see.
This is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth.
It doesn't matter whether or not they was deprived as a youth. Look at it.
It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to have become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that we created these conditions for you to fail. All right? And this is just a trauma response of what we've done to you. You see him? That's that Amos 1:11 again. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressors of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. See, it doesn't matter if they was deprived. It doesn't matter. See? And did cast off all pity. We looked that word up earlier. Become compassion. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Right? So the Lord ain't gonna turn your punishment away. Because you hate us, you always hated us. And when the Lord gave you the power over the world, you definitely exercise that hate. You're doing it now. You never stop doing it. It's just that the media just don't televise it like it should or like it could. But Jake's still popping up, being hung and hanged. All right, our people still the number 1 missing people. You got tens of thousands of so-called black women go missing every year. All right, children come up missing every year. How many people think you missing with all these with this ICE over the last couple years too? Anyway, Lord's will, this was edifying. Let's to the hopeful elect.